They used to let the kids go through the JCC to get to school because they thought it was safer than them going around on the outside. And there was some Christian organization that gave this entire town, all the kids, backpacks. So they had these stupid squarish blue backpacks that no American kid would have like the courage to wear. But every single Iraqi kid had these backpacks, and I used to actually inspect some of their school books and look at them, and some of them didn't have school books. I asked them why, and they said their father burnt them for fire or for heat or for cooking or whatever, or they just didn't have them. And we used to look at the pictures or whatever and talk about it, and I just try to engage the kids. And one day I was on the other side of the JCC, and the kids were coming through. And I remember feeling kind of sad that I didn't get to interact with the kids that day because I was on their side on guard. And one of the kids exploded. I guess somebody put a bomb in one of these squarish blackpacks, and they detonated the kid when he got up to our Humvees, and everybody hit the ground, and the kids scattered. I think five of the little kids were killed in the blast, and just one of our soldiers were injured. And I ran up to the Humvee, and I was just on the other side of the Humvee that got hit. And I ran up to it, and one of the kids' arms was on the opposite side of the Humvee. It must have just blown over the Humvee and landed. And I don't know why. I must have felt a little guilty about it, or just something was going through my mind. And I kicked it under the Humvee just to kind of get rid of it. Maybe I didn't want anybody else to see it. And I kicked it underneath the Humvee when I got there. And I was checking out our guys, and then we started doing triage on the little kids, and the medics finally came in. I kind of backed up. And it took almost hours to just clean all this crap up. And, a lot of the guys were just laughing about it, about the way the kids blew up. And you just learn to laugh at some horrible stuff when you're at war. It must be just a psychological way of dealing with something so horrific that you learn to laugh at it. But they cleaned all this up. They got the bodies gone and put them in bags and stuff. And after they left, it was about 15 minutes later, I remembered the arm underneath the Humvee. And I was like, oh shit. They just took these kids away and they cleaned it all up, and this arm was still there. And I looked under, and I got the arm out, and I showed it to my sergeant. And he pointed over at the trash pile. And I was like, I'm not going to throw this kid's arm away. We should figure out who it belongs to. And the guy took the arm and walked it over to the trash pile, threw it on the trash pile. And, that was that. So, it's just a very skewed environment. People, you just lose your mind. You don't know how to deal with things properly. And I've been in firefights where after it was over, most of the firefights I've been in, I was a sniper, but I did a lot of scout missions, so I was a gunner on a Humvee a lot of times. And usually we'd see a muzzle flash off in the distance. We didn't even see anybody. It was usually night. And we'd just see the muzzle flash and maybe some pinks on our Humvees if they were lucky enough to even get close. And we would just stop the trucks. We'd have 4 Humvees, which was pretty much a minimum of what you could drive out with. On top of each Humvee is a heavy automatic weapon, Mark 19 possibly, which is a fully automatic belt-fed grenade launcher, where you hold down the butterfly and grenades shoot out the other end at an effective range of 2,000 meters. 50 caliber machine gun, where the bullets leave the barrel and they actually swell to the size of salt shakers. And 240 Bravos that are one of the most rapid firing machine guns we have in the military, all trained on wherever this muzzle flash was coming from and just shooting and engaging. And a lot of times these guys would just fire off a couple shots, get down and run. Before we even stopped, the guy's gone. And he must have hit her behind, usually a house that didn't belong to him, and we just lit up the entire house and just destroyed the house. And we kick off on, after all the firing was done, we kick off on little missions and just kind of raid the house. We kick in the front door, look through the area, just turn the place over. Usually we found innocent people inside, mom and dad dead, little Johnny, little Mary dead, and there's nothing you really do about it. It's all collateral damage in the scheme of things. But that's kind of shit that sticks with you. And you go through that, and I see guys laughing, I see guys crying, I see guys praying, I see guys cursing, all have experienced the same exact thing, but everybody's kind of reacting different to it. So it's just kind of a jumbled mess, and it's chaotic, and it's not like the movies where everybody's moving in an organized way. Most of our combats were, where we were in firefights was basically we were all just shitting ourselves. And our training and our love for the men that we're fighting with is the only thing that keeps us in check from just turning around and running and just leaving it all behind. And you try to squeeze yourself into, hiding behind a signpost that you can't hide behind, but you're trying, you're trying the best you can. And it's just a scary and chaotic mess. And the rules of engagement, they go out the window. The Geneva Conventions, they go out the window. If I could drop a nuclear missile on some of these towns when I was in a firefight, just of pure fear of what was going on, I would have done it just to end it all right there. And these commanders that have these weapons available, like white phosphorus and MK-77, which is the modern day napalm, they use them because they're responsible for getting these kids home alive. And often that becomes their sole mission in Iraq.